I guess I'm beating my will drum, my Quaker will drum, and because there are unexpected things that you can discover in that. I've pretty much done all the wills that I've found of my family, and there are a lot of blanks because I can't find any wills for them. But you can find information about your family in other wills, and I did write a short filler article for a QC a few issues ago about one of the discoveries I did, which was I descend from one of the early friends, John Banks, who wrote a journal back in 1710. I think he printed it. But in the journal, there's a letter to his daughter, who is my ancestor, who had gone into service in London. Now, John Banks was from Pardshaw, Cumberland. So she went a long ways to go into service, and I think she was about 18 when she went there. But I had, and I know she married in 1690 to a John Warner from Walton Abbey, but I had no idea who did she work for, and what type of situation was it, and I was just going about doing some wills, and I gone to Margaret Fell's family and did all her daughters and her sons-in-law's wills. And I came across an entry in there, in the will of, was it Yeamans? I can't remember his first name. But anyway, William Yeamans. And there was, he was married to Isabel Fell. And there was a legacy given to several servants. And they were the servants of William Mead, who was married to another one of the Fell daughters. And the name was Anne Banks. Now, Anne Banks was a younger sister of my ancestor, Sarah Banks. So I went and checked. First thing I went to see is could this be the same Anne Banks who was a sister? And I found that yes, she was. This was the sister, and that at her wedding, Sarah was also at the wedding. So then I went back to the original marriage certificate for Sarah and John Warner, and I found that William Mead was at her wedding. Now it doesn't make it a perfect fit, but it tells me that it's very strong chance that Sarah Banks, when she went into service, had gone to work in the family of William Mead. So that was something that I had absolutely no idea. I would never have discovered except for going through this will. Another will that I found used that was helpful. I have some family Raymond from Chatteris meeting up in Cambridgeshire, and my ancestor Ann Raymond had married out in the early 1700s, and she and her husband both died in 1742. And they were buried in a churchyard in Cambridge, and they left a 13-year-old daughter. Now, between the time that they died in 1742 and 20 years later, or 10 years, 15 years later, when she married, and she married as a friend, I had no idea what happened to her. Going to the will, I found her father's will, who was not a Quaker, Matthew Harvey. I found his will, or no, I think it was a bond. And I found that her uncle, Robert Raymond, who was a Quaker, the rest of the family had all remained Quaker, except for the one, my ancestor who married out, that he took her in, and then she probably lived with her aunt, who's married to Richard Perkins, and they lived in London. And so that brought her from Cambridge to London, because after her parents died, obviously her Quaker family brought her in, and then she married in as a Quaker and continued the line that way. So these are things that I would never have known unless I had gone to the wills. So I encourage people, just because you don't have anybody, you don't have wills, or you've run out of wills to transcribe or look at for your own family, you may find information about your family in somebody else's wills, in some other family's wills.